Hey, this is Lauren coming in. So this is going to be a new video series that I'll be running where I will be asking 4 questions to digital nomads and people who work remote. The idea of this is to hopefully give you guys some inspiration and then also some practical tips about how to go around and work remote yourself. So today we're coming in with Olivia Scott. Olivia Scott, first, could you tell us a little bit about your job title and also how you got into working a job where you travel a lot?
Hi, my name is Olivia Scott. I'm the CEO of the company, and based on our business model, we have to traveling a lot because our client is foreigner, and we needed to under each one country's culture and going there to visit them. So my favorite place to work remotely.
We're not going quite there yet. You gotta give it a little bit of time. But yeah, so that'll be the next one. So how did you get into working abroad? So for the listeners, so for somebody who's watching this, who's interested in working abroad.
It's my job, ask me.
Well, yeah, but how did you get into that position? Could you tell us a little bit about your story of how you kind of got into it?
No. It's
No?
too complicated.
It's too
I'm
complicated?
working hard and get promoted, that's it.
So you work hard and you get promoted. Did you start off at a business where you knew that you'd be working remote right off the bat, or did you start off at a business where you thought you'd be working in an office and then you ended up working remote?
No, because when I was, start to work for this industry, we only focus on U.S. market, but luckily we get bring up to introduce us to overseas market. So it's a challenge because you need to face the time zones different. You're far away from your family, but it's very fun you learn different culture, food, language, music. So it's very cool.
For sure. So for you started off working at a business that only worked in America. You weren't planning, when you started this business, you weren't planning on working remote, but it just started happening where you were able to travel more in your job.
Yes.
Interesting. So that is a good thing to note for people out there. You know, maybe in some cases, if you're working with a business that has some pretty aggressive expansion plans, you don't necessarily have to start in a position or a business that has a lot of remote or international opportunities. Maybe you can grow into one and grow into a CEO, like Olivia did here. So from our conversations, Key West is one of your favorite places to work from. Do you have 2 tips for people who want to work from Key West, who would like to work remote in Key West?
Well, I introduce every one of you guys to go to join, the beach because it's so different, and then fishing. So I think it was by the biggest fish you never see in the market, and this is a very interesting spot. And by the way, if you like to sing, there's karaoke. There's probably the only one place restaurant have provided live karaoke. Enjoy yourself.
There you go. What kind of fish? Do you like swordfish or something like that? Is that
tuna and grouper.
Tuna and grouper. Okay,
Yes.
Killer. So I'm not gonna read off the next question right now. Just taking a short interim. What are your biggest fears revolved around working remote? So when you're working in a different country or working in a different place in the U.S. or abroad, what do you worry about the most, and how do you handle those fears?
I worry about the safety.
Okay.
And then the language issues, because I speak Portuguese before, and then when I go to Mexico, people say, "Oh, you have no problem. You can speak your Portuguese." Everybody understand, but actually, one day I want to go to a restaurant, even no one understand what I'm talking about, and then I feel hurt because, I see everybody have the very clear understanding the place you're going to. We're not talking about how safe they are, and what you have to focus on is what's the dangerous thing may happen. This is what you need to prepare.
Okay, so number 1 would be kind of the language barrier.
Are you so tall in the camera right now?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, you're really short. I'm gonna have to take like a power stance here. So number 1 would be kind of the language barrier element. So that's a little bit of a tough one. And so how do you address that language barrier? So if you think somebody can, because that happens to me all the time, where it's like, I think that somebody can understand when I'm speaking Chinese, but maybe they can't.
Yeah, I
因为
think
我的中文很差, and so like
你的中文也说得很好。
for sure. So You know, it's like sometimes that happens to a lot of people, I'd imagine, where it's like your language kind of sucks. So what do you do in that situation?
I think the first one, you need to provide your very respect for local people. Just say thank you. This is the first sentence you need to learn. Second is where's the restroom.
Okay, so try to nail down the basics, I guess, would be the big thing there.
Yes, and then third is I need help. In case you call 911 in the local, you know what you're talking about.
That's actually a good idea. So that with that need of help, that kind of transitions into the second point around safety. So how do you, when you're maybe at a new place, even if you want to work at a new place or travel at a new place, especially as a woman, right, who's not particularly large statured, like
and tall enough like you, but actually I'm problem fight you, okay?
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
pretty
so
tall in Macau.
I mean, I haven't been to Macau, but I can't imagine everybody's 5 foot over there. But anyway, so how do you handle the safety? So your safety concerns. So you try to figure out like at least an idea of like how to call police and maybe some like safety sentences in the local language. Or do you have any other tips, especially for women, right?
Yeah, don't drink more than 1 glass of wine.
Okay.
And always, if you feel you are too relaxed, just text your family or your best friends, tell them where are you, and text them back hour 2 hours later before you go back to your hotel. I think that's very important. And then don't make any stranger. This is kind of dangerous.
Yeah, strangers are dangerous.
But everybody has a heart and have passion, and we learn different culture, so it's complicated if we not meet new persons, right? So you just need to, have a clear introduction for yourself. Like, hey, this is what I should follow, my rule, what we should do in the new country.
So having some hard and fast rules. So don't drink a whole lot. Obviously, know where your hotel is. Try to stay close, sort of thing. Is going to be the goal there. All right. Well, thank you, Livia, for being on the first episode of. I don't know what to call this.
Hey, this is Scotland music. My last name is Scott.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Scottish music. Last name Scott. We're actually just coming in from Boulder, so it's not that exotic. Although Scotland doesn't feel exotic. However, I don't know the name, so I don't know what we're gonna have to name this. But thank you for being on the first episode of. What are we gonna name this? What should I name this video series?
After COVID.
Nah, I had enough of COVID. I don't even want to talk about COVID anymore. I want to be respectful about what happened.
The new June 2020.
Yeah. What? Well, no, but this series. So this video series. What should I name this video series? Of like asking, digital nomads and people who work remote 4 questions. What should I name this? Digital nomad lifestyle interviews, maybe something like that. I don't know. We'll figure out those details. Doesn't look like Olivia's coming up with those ideas, at least on the man, my shoulder is sore. She's not coming up with it on this spot. But anyway, I hope this was useful for you guys. If you have any additional questions, this is still actually, everything's in draft at this point. So if you want to swap out one of the 4 questions that I'm asking, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd love me to ask some of these folks. I'd be more than happy to do that. All right, signing out.